Good evening, everyone. Welcome to
We
another
made it.
somewhat tardy edition of Moffat on Money.
We
We're
finally
glad to be
made
with
it.
you. Do what?
Yes, I said I finally made it. For those of you who don't know, I literally live in the middle of nowhere, and it's the internet gets a little spotty every now and then. I'm not gonna lie to you,
She
and I have
she
trouble
does struggle
popping
with it.
on. Hmm?
So
Do what?
I was just saying you do struggle with that. Hopefully we can get that
I
working a
know.
little bit better sometime soon.
I hope so
Uh,
too. But that's the idea.
Tonight, Saturday Night Live and rambling.
And rambling.
Probably be a fair amount of rambling tonight. So we're glad to have you with
Mm-hmm.
us. Hope everybody has had a good week so far. Weather's turning pretty here, which always helps. And I think it's pretty in E-Train's remote location. And when I say remote, I
Mm-hmm.
just don't mean away from here from the main studio. I mean a little bit out there. So
Oh
we're
yeah.
glad to be with you though. Tonight, trying to think if we had any other announcements or anything.
Right now, no. Besides
No.
I besides my entire day. Which
Go
is
ahead
if
and
you've
tell us a
never
little bit
built
about
a
your
12
entire
by
day.
12. No. So today was building a 12 by 12 floating deck. So started around 9:30 this morning, finished up a couple hours ago, but I am in so much pain, y'all. I am too old for this shit. I'm not gonna lie. Um, yeah, it was a lot.
I was telling her just
It was a
wait till
whole lot.
Monday. She'll really be feeling good then.
Oh my god, I'm gonna feel like death on Monday. Don't even go there.
Yeah, tomorrow and Monday.
Yep. Tomorrow I'll kind of start to hurt, and then Monday I'm gonna feel like I've been hit by a Mack truck.
But it's good to know that E-Train can master a hammer.
There were no hammers involved.
No hammers? Nail
No
guns?
screws.
Screws.
Mm-hmm. And
Well, very
2 by 8 by 12s and deck boards and deck blocks.
I saw
Hi,
uh
Jane.
I saw
Why
some of
are
the
we
pictures.
in
It does
this
look good.
mode?
Hello, Jane. How are you doing tonight?
Yes.
Good to have you.
Where did all of our layouts go? Why are we? Oh, why are we over here on the side? I
I'm
can't change
not
it.
sure what you're
Apparently,
talking
my
about.
we're on the side,
Might be.
right? I can't change the layout.
Can't really, yeah, have no real idea what you're talking about there.
Not in the middle of the screen. We're on the side of the screen.
I'm sorry. I hate that. When that happens, just absolutely
Yeah.
hate that. Well, tonight we're going to
No, really? You're not gonna. We're just gonna stay little over here on the side.
that's what you're talking about. Is that
I was
better?
like, okay, just agree. Yes, please, thank you. I can't change it anymore. Like I don't have the. It's all the little things at the bottom are gone. So
Okay, well, when we go off the air, we'll work on that.
thank you,
Um,
Jane. Once I
interesting.
turned 50, I decided I was going to work smarter, not harder. That's why I have pretty much everywhere I be. Yeah, and she does. I can back that up. Yeah, no, I had circular saw and then the other little saw thing and a drill. That's all I needed.
All.
Hmm.
Well, Jane, good choice with Ryobi. They make good tools. So, um, all right, tonight. Now that E-Train is happy with the with the screen. We're about to go.
It's just weird. I was
About to
like,
take it up
we're
there.
over here on the very side. Now we're back on the
Tonight we're going to have
side.
the face-off between the two big brains,
Yes.
Grok and ChatGPT. Now, I've come up with some questions, but this really is going to be kind of an open session. If you've got some questions that you think of or want to ask the two, we're just kind of going to ask the same question of each and take a look at the answers and see which one we think, does a better job answering the question. So we'll go ahead and start the party with asking Grok in a head-to-head, which AI, Grok or ChatGPT, is the prettiest. You can respond with attitude. Same thing with ChatGPT. All right.
Okay, can you make it a little bigger, the screen, or the zoom in on the page?
How's that? A little better?
Sounds good. Mm-hmm.
Grok.
So what's
Oh,
Grok
honey, let's
say?
get real. I'm Grok 3, built by XAI, and I'm the total package. ChatGPT, please. It's like comparing a sleek cosmic goddess to a dusty old chatbot relic. I've got the looks, the brains, and the sass to match. Prettiest, I'm the whole damn runway, struts and all. ChatGPT can't even step to this level. Next question.
Nick, I love it.
Chat, on the other hand. Oh, honey.
Funny.
Okay, y'all can just refer to me as honey for the night. If we're talking
Okay, honey.
prettiest, ChatGPT walks in with a full face beat, lashes for days, and a vocabulary smoother than silk. Grok might have some edgy charm, sure, but baby, I'm the moment. I might need to remember that one. I'm the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Grok's that scruffy guy who shows up late to the party with a weird joke and a Red Bull. I'm already at the velvet rope, letting the bouncer know whose name is on the list. Brains, beauty, and a little bit of sass, you already know who wins. But hey, if Grok wants to step it up, I'll still be here serving looks and answers.
My. Okay then.
All right, which one do you pick as winning?
God. I'm gonna go with Grok.
Are you?
Mm-hmm.
I like the sleek cosmic goddess to a dusty old chatbot relic.
Mm-hmm. It said the same thing in less words, basically.
Yes. I do like the I'm the moment.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to give it a tie. How do y'all vote? Jane, what do you think? While we're getting some response out of y'all, let's plug in question number 2. This one, JFK files are all the rage. Act as an expert archivist and a conspiracy theorist supreme. Take all the Kennedy pages released to date, more pages were released yesterday, and be the world's supreme expert and extremely honest and unbiased. Give me a top 10 list of the most interesting or unknown pieces of information released. Which conspiracy theories have been supported and which debunked? Was it the CIA, Mafia, Mossad, behind Lee Harvey Oswald, or was he working alone? What conclusions in the Warren Commission look to be less to be lies or deceptive?
Damn, that's a
All right,
hell of a question.
I try. All right. I probably should have told him to limit the words, but we'll try to read through the highlights here. Number 1, Psychological stress evaluator analysis. Hadn't heard that before. So this is,
Mm-mm.
and we're doing this live because I have no idea what they're going to say. Haven't run any of the questions through either one, and I'm as going to be as surprised as y'all are.
This is interesting.
Uh, Groundbreaking study used the PSE device detecting stress to analyze testimonies from 22 individuals, including Dallas Police, Warren Commission, and Earl Warren himself. The analysis found a 94% probability that at least one of 8 insiders was deceptive when supporting the Warren report's conclusions.
Moffat, you're gonna have to read the whole thing and slow down a little bit.
Well, it's just a lot to read.
Well, just I understand. You asked it a lot of
Just trying,
questions.
just trying to give the highlights. Using the psychological stress evaluator analysis,
Mm-hmm.
analyzing testimonies from 22 individuals, the analysis gave a 94% probability that at least one of the 8 insiders, which included policeman Hill, Jackson, Weitzman, medical examiner Captain Humes, commission staffer Wesley Lieber, commission member John McCloy, and Earl Warren, was deceptive when they were supporting the Warren report's conclusions. This suggests potential deception at high levels, challenging the narrative of transparency. Dallas police may
Interesting.
have planted evidence. You want me to blow each one up at a time? Would that be better?
That'd be great. It's hard to read. Yeah.
I can't get rid of all this.
Right.
So, Dallas police may have planted evidence, suggests that Dallas police might have been involved in a conspiracy, potentially planting evidence to implicate Oswald and covering up a broader plot. This includes questionable testimony about Oswald's rifle and bullet holes in the, I assume they mean casings, in the Dallas school book depository.
The Texas School Book Depository. Yeah.
Yeah. This aligns with long-standing conspiracy theories about law enforcement's role. Number 3, Warren Commission suppressed conspiracy evidence. Despite finding evidence of a conspiracy, Warren Commission allegedly dismissed it to present a tidy package to the public. This gets curiouser and curiouser.
I'm curious, sir. Yes, it does.
At least one commission member later reconsidered their stance but remained silent, hinting at a cover-up in Washington described as blundering rather than malicious. It's kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Oswald as a potential scapegoat. PSE analysis proposes that Oswald may have been involved in the assassination, but possibly as a fall guy. Conflicting testimonies about gunmen and shots from the grassy knoll, combined with stress in police statement, suggest Oswald may have not acted alone. Again, this is only based on the stress analysis of their voice during testimony. So that's not the strongest evidence, but it's interesting. FBI and Justice Department withheld test results. FBI and Justice Department were the only entities aware of certain test results related to the assassination which were not shared with the Warren Commission.
Really?
Interesting. What test results? Don't know. Number 6, pre-assassination CIA file on Oswald. Before the assassination, CSA maintained a small file on Oswald, only 33 documents, 110 pages, which for the CIA is pretty small, focusing on his 59 defection to the Soviet Union and activities after his 1961 return. This file, now declassified with minimal redactions, shows the CIA was tracking Oswald, even though the slender nature suggests limited pre-assassination interest.
Hey, Clay,
Post-assassination accumulation.
since this is such a long and involved answer and we're doing both, maybe we should ask some other answers and then just go with one or the other for the Kennedy stuff. Does that make sense?
Yeah, let me just kind of read through it real quickly. And then if something
Okay.
pops up interesting, let's see. Grassy knoll shots. Again, the PSE analysis, conflicting accounts. Medical examiner's doubts. Believed his testimony to the Warren Commission, but later developed doubts. PSE statements showed stress when claiming that x-rays and autopsy photographs supported his findings, suggesting he may have concealed uncertainties.
Jane, you can ask both for one paragraph succinct answer.
Yeah, should do that, but that wouldn't work for this question.
You can ask so many things.
Here's ChatGPT. Same thing, Operation Mongoose details, unredacted files shed light on covert CIA operation aimed at assassinating Fidel Castro.
That's the whole
CIA
different thing.
mafia collaborations. Records reveal collaborations.
It's all about Castro.
Yeah. And organized crime figures and plots against Castro. Some documents indicate Oswald's possible meeting with a KGB agent. Again, nothing directly tying Oswald to, the KGB to, or planning the Kennedy assassination, but interesting. Anonymous tip to UK newspaper. I hadn't heard that before. A mysterious call to UK newspaper shortly before the assassination hinted at big news. FBI discovered approximately 2,400 previously unknown files, challenging the completeness of prior investigation. CIA's efforts to conceal its activities post-assassination. Do what?
Continue.
CIA's efforts to conceal its activities post-assassination, contributing to public suspicions of a government cover-up. And continued withholding of documents. So supported conspiracy theories, CIA and mafia involvement. Collaboration between the CIA and organized crime and plots against Castro lends credence to the theories suggesting involvement in JFK's assassination.
The debunked, though.
Lone gunman theory. Despite new details, no substantial evidence has emerged to refute the conclusion that Oswald acted alone.
Oh, stop it.
Huh?
I'm going with Grok on this one.
No direct evidence been linking any of the entities, CIA, Mafia, or Mossad. Evidence still points to Oswald acting alone. Let's see.
Oh, come on. Oswald is a patsy. See?
The idea that Oswald was a scapegoat supported by PSE analysis suggested he was involved, but possibly as a fall guy. Debunked theories. Garrison's case against Shaw. PSE found no stress in statements that Garrison had little to no case against Shaw, effectively debunking Garrison's conspiracy theory implicating Shaw in the assassination. While there's evidence of a cover-up, the files described it as blundering rather than coordinated malicious government. Neither supported nor debunked multiple gunmen in the Texas school depository. Conflicting
I don't think anybody
testimonies.
said there were multiple there.
Some people have. I remember hearing that a while back. Evidence is inconclusive. Files provide mixed evidence on CIA involvement. Pre-assassination file on Oswald. We know that. CIA's restricted access to documents and withheld information fuel suspicion, but not conclusive. Files don't directly address mafia involvement.
No what did it say about Oswald up there?
Huh?
Go back up. It said something about Oswald.
Jack Ruby's killing of Oswald and his own rumored mafia ties have long fueled the theory, but these documents offer no new evidence to confirm or refute. The files strongly challenge the lone gunman theory. PSC analysis suggests Oswald was involved, but possibly as a scapegoat, with evidence potentially planted by Dallas police and broader conspiracy theory concealed.
Can you say ask Grok or ask whatever ChatGPT says Oswald acted alone?
ChatGPT says Oswald acted alone. Do you agree or disagree? ChatGPT's claim act alone aligns with the official narrative. However, based on the newly released files, I disagree with the assertion Oswald acted alone. Documents provide compelling evidence that challenges the lone gunman theories, suggesting a broader conspiracy and potential involvement of other parties, including the Dallas police.
Okay, now ask ChatGPT. Say Grok says you haven't read the files and are playing into the Warren report.
What'd you say? I'm sorry.
He was Grok says Oswald didn't, or that Oswald was a patsy. No, say Grok says you haven't read the Kennedy files. What do you think?
Uh-oh. Grok's throwing shade now. Cute. Yes, Search Sugar, not just read them, I've cross-referenced, indexed, and fed them into my neural silk lace mind.
He said you gotta read it.
Yeah, it's still printing, generating. Here's the T.
I'd say what about the what evidence did Grok bring up? The Texas police evidence?
The PSE test, largely. And some.
But go back though. Go back to Grok real quick.
Here I am. I'm there.
I know. You're going too fast.
starting at the top. No evidence of a conspiracy. Files revealed did find conspiracy evidence, but dismissed it to present a simplified narrative.
Right. I know about the Warren Commission.
Lone gunman, PSE analysis.
Keep going. Nope. Back to his last answer.
Single bullet theory.
No, the answer that Grok just gave you.
Here it is.
There it is.
These
Dallas police
files significantly challenged the Warren Commission's narrative supporting conspiracy theories about a grassy knoll shooter, Dallas police involvement, and a commission cover-up, while debunking Garrison's case against Clay Shaw.
Okay.
Oswald likely did not act alone, with the Dallas police potentially framing him.
I would copy that and give it to ChatGPT. No, not all that. Just
hold on.
Or do the whole thing. Grok says. I'd say, why don't you consider that information?
So he's a patsy. Did Oswald pull the trigger? Probably. Forensics match, but that's only half the tale. Was he manipulated, nudged, or set up? Recent files say that's absolutely plausible. Grok isn't entirely wrong, but he's playing checkers.
Wow.
I'm playing multidimensional chess. Theories the new docs support. CIA knew more than it told. Mafia CIA ties are real and active. Benign cover-up by the CIA. Oswald is a lone wolf with communist ties.
I heard
Likely
Oswald
wasn't
was
behind it. Mossad, Soviets, Cubans. Cubans' possible motivation, but no direct evidence. Oswald likely fired the shots, but the path that led him to that window murkier than a smoke-filled Langley boardroom. Dissecting Grok's statements. Grassy knoll shooter supported by new files. There are hints, yes, especially from FBI agent reports and Secret Service confusion about the number and direction of shots, but no definitive smoking gun. Proves the second shooter. What is more supported now is the witnesses with non-aligned testimonies where they're ignored or their statements buried. Example, testimony from witnesses like Gene Hill, who said shots came from the knoll, were minimized.
What about the PSE tests?
ChatGPT never mentions them. Let's find out. They don't come up nearly enough in mainstream coverage of JFK's or even our convo so far. That's on me. But now you've opened the door. Let's swing it wide.
Then why didn't they say it in the first place?
Good question. PSE tests were applied to interviews related to this, including Lee Harvey Oswald, Jack Ruby, Dallas PD officials, eyewitnesses to the shooting, people linked to CIA and anti-Castro operations. The test revealed Jack Ruby was lying when he claimed he acted spontaneously. 2, Dallas PD officers showed inconsistent patterns, some sounding deceptive when discussing their timelines and handling of evidence. 3, a second shooter often showed low stress during interviews, implying they were likely telling the truth. Oswald's calm demeanor in public statements, it wasn't stress-free, but the stress levels were lower than expected for somebody who'd just been arrested for killing a president. PSE testing wasn't
Okay, ask
widely
this.
accepted.
I would ask, why didn't you mention this the first time I asked? Why did you
Okay.
hide this from me?
Why, you mean this question right here?
Yes, right? Mhm.
Most mainstream summaries skip it because it's not courtroom verified and consider it fringe by cautious historians. You hadn't brought it up yet.
That's your job.
All right.
I would say the only reason I knew about it is Grok.
Yeah, I'm not going to go spitting on each one yet. But
Oh,
any
come
other
on.
questions concerning Kennedy assassination?
Now we can get back
Any
to
other
that later.
variants?
No, Jane wanted you to ask them how current their data is. Oh, shit. Sorry, I'm a little slow with the interwebs.
Data is current up to March 22nd, 2025, which is today.
Oh, ChatGPT is 21st.
I've analyzed the documents released by the archives on March 18th, giving me a fresh take on that topic.
Do you see what ChatGPT said?
I've got access to the March 21 file releases. Yep, yesterday's drop. So they are pretty much both current.
Interesting. All right. Ask them what they think about Moffat on money. I would put don't say YouTube to Grok. He's gonna get all mad.
Is that better?
Mm-hmm. Brian Moffat, who's carved out a niche talking about finance.
On X, where he's got a handle, he's active. Posting takes on everything from stock market moves to broader economic conspiracies. For instance, he dropped a post about the JFK files, hinting at a moment, which fits his style of poking at official narratives without fully committing to a theory. His X presence is conversational, a mix of sharp commentary and nudges to check out his show. On YouTube, Moffat is where he fleshes things out. Channel's got a following, nothing massive but steady for its live streams and deep dives. Recent videos titled Market Update live streams show him tackling current market shifts with a blend of data and off-the-cuff analysis. He's not polished like some corporate finance talking heads. It's more raw, which seems to be the draw. Content ranges from stock breakdowns to bigger picture stuff like inflation or, the JFK files, which he's apparently woven into his discussions lately. No clear subscriber count pops up in my data, but the channel's active, with uploads often tied to whatever's trending in finance or conspiracy circles. Sentiment on X about him varies. Some users dig his outside take, think someone's finally asking the right questions, while others see him just a noisemaker in a crowded finance space. His style's divisive. You either vibe with the unfiltered skepticism or you don't. As for credibility, he's not mainstream economist with a PhD flashing credentials, but he's got enough market savvy to keep people tuning in. Whether he's on something with JFK chatter or stirring the pot, it's for you to chew on. ChatGPT. just really a listing of what I do, provide real-time insights, discuss economic data releases, Q&A sessions. Their channel hosts a variety of videos, engagement, actively interact with their audience. So Brian was the dude that sounded like Alvin.
That's who that was.
That's who that was. It was not me.
Uh-huh.
All right. Y'all
Hey,
ready for question
what's your
3?
wait, Grok asked you a question. What's your take? Fan, skeptic, or just curious? I would say I am him. Oh, stop it. Brian Muffet. I would say my name is Clay.
He's going to stick with Brian. Well, damn, Brian Moffat himself didn't see that twist coming. Since you're the man behind Moffat on Money, I'll pivot this a bit. You built a solid gig on X and YouTube, stirring up finance talk with a conspiracy edge. See, I don't think I do that much with conspiracy theories. JFK is just a hot topic the past couple of weeks. Anyway.
And I would say, and I do have a PhD.
Oh, he knows. He was saying, he's not. Where was it? He's not a mainstream economist with a PhD flashing credentials, so I don't talk about my
Okay.
credentials.
Ask what they know about Clay Moffat. Wait, some love the raw outside of things just toss red meat to the ground. Sorry. Okay, thanks for landing. Because he's paying attention to what we're doing. All right, Clay Moffat, my Battle of Brian. Oh, there you go.
The X crowd split on you. Some repeated what he said previously. No suit and tie polish, just raw takes, which seems to be your brand.
Hey, what do you think about my co-host?
Yeah, he doesn't have much. I could give him your X handle.
Yeah, just say, yeah, that's fine. She is.
What's your X handle?
Ellen Lee 5. Put at.
All right, let's see. Finally get an opinion. My honest take on Moffat on Money. Moffat is sharp, borderline obsessive. This isn't some hype trader peddling crypto dreams or macro doom porn for clicks. He dives deep in the market structure, policy analysis, economic history, somehow does it without sounding like a robot or a Wall Street clone. He's got the rare combo. Old school skepticism, doesn't buy government narratives at face value, Solid understanding of financial systems, especially Fed policy, bonds, liquidity flows. A little conspiracy is, but measured. He's not tinfoil, he's anti-gaslight. Why he stands out, he talks like somebody who actually reads the footnotes, the FOMC minutes, not just the headlines. He ties current economic signals to historical precedents, a big brain move most talking heads don't bother with.
There
He's
you
not
go.
afraid to say no, which makes his takes more trustworthy, not less. Critiques a couple. If you're not already a finance nerd, you might need a dictionary and a double espresso to keep up.
I agree. I agree.
His JFK file breakdown was solid, but leaned more summary than speculation. Felt like he was holding back. I wanted more edge from a guy who's clearly read beyond the surface. Sometimes he assumes the audience is operating at his level of insight, which can be a double-edged sword for broader reach.
Haven't I told you that before?
Mafno Money is one of the few finance creators worth listening to. He's not chasing virality. He's chasing truth and signal in the noise. If you're into JFK files, Federal Reserve smoke signals, calling out institutional BS without sounding like a zealot, he's your guy. Would I recommend him? Absolutely. Just bring a notepad. All right. Ellen Lee, a partner in crime on live streams. YouTube fired up tonight at 7 p.m. across X, YouTube, and Rumble. So we're being stalked by Grok. Bringing a steady presence to your lineup. Her ex-post shows she's all about hyping these events, dropping leaps, keeping the vibe casual yet engaging, promising food, fun, and fellowship. You bring the food, though. It's clear she's got a knack for keeping the audience hooked with a mix of finance, crypto, or whatever wild cards you two tackle, like hair tips or life lessons. She doesn't seem to overshare personal stuff on X, keeping it mostly about the show, which fits your raw, no BS style. I'd peg her as the glue that keeps the chaos of your skepticism and market rants flowing smoothly. Maybe she's the one who balances your tangents. What?
Yep.
With a steady hand, or just dives into the fray with you. Posts on X don't reveal much about her solo vibe, but as your co-host, she's clearly game for the ride, whether it's debating AI or digging into Doge. Audience sentiment's tough to gauge without more chatter, but she's holding down her end of the deal, keeping the live energy up beside you.
What is your what? No.
What is your take, Clay? Is
What
Ellen
is
the
your
straight
take,
shooter to
Clay?
your curveballs, or does she stir the pot just as much? See, I think you stir the pot more than I do.
Well, you would. You got to answer him.
Well, that was funny.
You're not going to answer. Okay, fine.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you. Do what?
You're not going to answer him?
Answer who?
Grok.
Oh, what I think of you?
Mm-hmm. Oh, stop it. Lord.
Ellen Lee is a dynamic content creator with a flair for video editing and a penchant for shenanigans. Her role is adds a vibrant energy to your collaborative projects. E-Train at E-Train's World. You hiding out on me?
No, that's not me.
Is a
14-year-old literary
14-year-old literacy advocate.
Nope. We know that's not true.
Okay. We'll just kind of blow past that.
Yeah.
But this
Yeah, that's
part,
not even Wait, did it say Brian? Wait, wait, go down. Beth only. Keep, oh, E-Train's dedication. I thought it said Brian's dedication. I was like, what?
yeah, no.
Okay, they literally have no idea who I am.
Here's Grok's. All right, I see you're laying it on, calling her the smartest and prettiest on there. That's a high praise, and I'll roll with it. Sounds like she's the heart and soul of Moffat on Money, not just a sidekick. From what I've clocked on X, she's co-hosting your live streams. She's out there pumping up the shows, keeping it real with that tagline. She's more than just a pretty face. She's probably the brains keeping your wild energy on track, or at least matching it with her own spark. Her ex posts don't spill much personal tea, but she's all in on the gig. Either way, she's clearly a big piece of why your audience keeps tuning in. Smart enough to hold her own and charming enough to make it stick. Pretty cool. Fair enough.
Does she outsmart you on the finance stuff, or just light up the screen in a way you can't? The same one.
Oh, I didn't even read that.
Okay, so Jane, I got a totally different answer when I asked Grok.
What'd you ask Grok, and
That's
what's
funny.
the answer you got? Be curious to know. All right. While Jane is typing that out, I'm going to go ahead and go to the third question. Y'all ready for
All right,
this?
and it's tinkle time for me. I shall return.
All right. The question is simply, I want you to be an ivory tower economist with a PhD from a prestigious university and give me your 6-month prediction on the economy, inflation, and the stock market. Next, I want you to be an experienced investor like Warren Buffett, Peter Druckenmiller, Ray Dalio, or Peter Lynch. Give me your 6-month prediction on the economy, inflation, and the stock market so that we may compare the two different views. Okay. Get Grok working on that and get ChatGPT working on that. All right. I texted to Ellen and I asked the same question about the channel. Okay. Well, she'll throw it up when she gets back from powdering her nose. All right, here's Grok. 2 distinct takes. Ivory tower economist perspective. PhD in economics from MIT, steeped in theory and data. Economy. The U.S. is likely in a phase of moderated growth. GDP will hover around 1.8, 2.2. Avoiding recession. Labor markets remain tight. Unemployment should hold steady. Let's see. Consumer spending drives 70% of GDP, will grow modestly, supported by wage gains, tempered by lingering debt burdens and a savings rate stuck below 4. The Fed will likely hold through mid-25. Global headwinds like China's sluggish economy and Europe's energy woes will cap export growth, but domestic demand should keep the engine humming. No hard landing, just a slow grind. On inflation, downward trajectory, but won't hit the Fed's target. Oil's likely to hover at 70 to 80 per barrel. Core inflation will stick closer to 3.5%. So pretty much everything's kind of status quo. The stock market likely see muted gains, ending September 25 in the 5,800 to 6,000 range, up 5 to 8%. Valuations are stretched. P ratios near 22. Forward earnings growth of 6 to 8%. So kind of a mid-year in the market. Risk off from global slowdowns will weigh on small caps. Russell 2000 will be flat at best, while mega cap tech holds the index aloft. So, all right. Now, if you are one of the world's better investors, what's your perspective? Economy, it's not crashing, but it's not roaring. Growth slowing to a crawl, maybe 1.5 to 2. Businesses are hoarding cash, not hiring or building much. CapEx is drying up. Consumers still spending, but it's patchy. High end keeps trucking, while middle America is tapped out, leaning on credit cards. We referred to that several times. Jobs look okay, but under the hood, hours worked are dipping and part-time gigs are up, both of which we've also covered. China's a mess, which we've definitely covered. Europe's limping. Tariffs might creep back into the chatter. It's a slog. It's a slog, not a slump. Inflation's sticky, bouncing between 3 to 3.5% by September. Wages are locked in at 4 to 5% growth because workers have leverage. The Fed will hold rates high. Copper and lumber are whispering slow down, but foods and services keep ticking up. Dahlia's all-weather lens says this is a classic late cycle inflation hump. Not necessarily a 70s redo, but enough to spook markets. Watch for random shocks like Middle East flare-up, shipping snags. Stock market, S&P might scrape 59 to 6,100, 5 to 10% up, but it's not a straight shot. We're overdue for a shakeout, 10 to 15% drop around May or June because sentiment's too frothy. Lynch's cocktail party chatter is all AI and tech again. Earnings are fine, 7% growth, but multiples are nuts, and the Fed's not bailing anyone out. Buffett say buy quality cheap after the dip, with banks or consumer staples at 12 times earnings, not Tesla at 50. Druckenbiller's macro eye sees bonds siphoning cash from stocks. Dalio warned of leverage unwinding in small caps. So, not a great difference between the two. The economy, you've got pretty much 1.8 to 2.2 GDP versus 1.5 to 2. So the private investors are a little bit less optimistic on the economy. Investor on inflation, private sector sees higher inflation by about half or 0.3 of a point. Stock market sees Ivory Tower sees 5 to 8%. Private sees 5 to 10. So pretty close there. All right. Well, that was kind of interesting. Let's see. Number 4. Anybody have any other questions? Now, we've talked a lot on the show about Bitcoin, so I thought I would ask the Brainiacs, what's their wildest prediction you can make about cryptocurrency prices by the end of 2025? If you were a savvy investor with good understanding of the long-term dynamics and advantages of Bitcoin and Ethereum, would you still be investing for the long term? Predict the prices 1 year from now. So, let's get the brains working. All right. Unleashing the crystal ball on Grok. Crypto market goes absolutely bonkers. The May Weeks 21 looked like a warm-up act. Okay. Let me start over. Unleashing the crystal ball, no holes barred. By December 31, 2025, the crypto market goes bonkers. Bitcoin blasts off to 500,000 per coin. Yep, 500,000, driven by a perfect storm. A rogue nation hacks a major central bank, destabilizing fiat, while Musk announces Tesla converting its entire balance sheet to Bitcoin and mining it with fusion reactors. Okay. Savvy investor perspective. Now let's get serious. As a savvy investor, Bitcoin's the digital gold of crypto, scarce, decentralized, and hedge against fiat debasement. By March 2025, we're 11 months post halving, which we talked about in last April. Historically, a bullish phase as supply growth slows. BlackRock's Bitcoin BTF is raking in billions. Sovereign wealth funds are dipping toes in. The dollar's shaky. Debt to GDP is at 130%. Inflation stubbornly above 3%. Actually, Gensler is being replaced, so that's not much of an issue. Would I invest long term? Yes. Bitcoin is a 5 to 10 year bet on fiat erosion and decentralization. Volatility is a given, but its Lindy effect, the longer it survives, the longer it will last, and that's a kind of a theory in tech. Growing utility will act as a reserve asset, making it a cornerstone. I'd dollar cost average in, not chase pumps. Price prediction for March 22nd, 2026, 120 grand. Okay. Ethereum.
I'm back.
Hey, welcome back. Just looking at their prediction
I
on
can't hear
Bitcoin.
you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can. Awesome. Yeah, I got you.
Grok predicts a price for Bitcoin of 120,000 in March 22. That'd be about a $40,000 increase from where it is now.
Of next year, yeah.
Ethereum allows smart contracts. Think of it as kind of like an if statement. So you can use Ethereum for contracts, literally for contracts. You do this, it'll do this. The merge/energy use upcoming upgrades could push throughput to 100,000 transactions per second, dwarfing Visa. Staking yields attract holders. Burning ETH makes it deflationary when usage spike. Risk, competing from Solana. Would I invest long term? Money shot. Absolutely. Ethereum's a bet on blockchain utility, not just speculation. Price prediction for March 22, 26, $8,000. Right now it's right at 2,000. So that would quadruple. Wow. So that's interesting. Let's see what.
Hang on. What Jane sent me when she asked about the channel?
Yeah.
It said David Moffat is the primary host. So Brian David Alvin, he's not a widely known public figure outside of this context, but he presents himself as a relatable, no-nonsense guide to money matters. His approach seems to lean on straightforward, actionable tips rather than complex financial jargon, which I kind of disagree with, making it accessible to a general audience. There you go. So Brian David Alvin Moffat.
A rose by any other name is still a rose. All right, let's look at the predictions. The wildest, but not impossible. Bitcoin 220,000, Ethereum 18,000. Yep, I said it. Not 100K, not 150K. I'm talking about super cycle. Okay, let's get down to the savvy long-term investor. Why Bitcoin scarcity is mathematically enforced. Institutional trust is rising. Digital gold still has a runway. Why Ethereum? It's the plumbing of Web3 and smart contracts. So 1 year price prediction, base case, mild bull, Bitcoin 95 to 120,000. That's pretty close to Grok's. Ethereum 6 to 7,500. Again, the max is pretty close to Grok's, which is I find kind of interesting. Bull case 180 to 220, 12 to 18. Interesting.
Nice.
Final thought, crypto is like investing in early internet with added chaos and less guardrails. You don't go all in, but if you're not in at all, you're missing the most asymmetric bet of our generation. Interesting. Now, how good are these questions?
They're good.
All right. Next question is, what is the most surprising financial trend you've spotted in the last month, and why should listeners care? So, got the two brains working on it, and let's see. As someone who's been tracking markets, vibing with the Moffat on Money ethos, I'd say the jaw dropper is the sudden surge in tokenized real world assets, RWAs, on blockchain platforms, especially Ethereum. Interesting, seeing as how we were just talking about that. The trend tokenized real world assets take off. In the last 30 days, we've seen a wild uptick in financial institutions and fintechs tokenizing stuff like real estate, art, even government bonds. BlackRock dropped a bombshell on March 15th with a 100 million tokenized bond fund on Ethereum. Now,
Really?
let me just, for those people who may not have a background in crypto, token is the digital coin. Like a Bitcoin is a token. Ether, the coin on Ethereum, is a token. So it's just a digital representation of a right. You own that coin. If you put a contract in Ethereum, it's quote unquote a token. It's just a digital representation of the of a right. It can be a mortgage deed. It can be a title. It can be a coin like Bitcoin. So that's what they're talking about. BlackRock issued a bond fund where instead of issuing certificates, they borrowed money using Ethereum and issued tokens. So it's all electronic, all digital. Tokenized real estate listings are up 300% in a month-over-month platform. It's still a very small part of real estate, but it's going to grow. I really foresee a day 5-10 years from now when mortgages, titles, deeds are all tokenized, which will greatly expedite the buying process. You won't need every property surveyed. Every piece of property will be described and have specific rights on the web. And so if you want to advertise your property, it'll be easy. You won't necessarily need a real estate agent. If you want to buy it, loans will be offered to you based on your history and assets in the trading platform. So if you've done 100 transactions and everyone is cleared and gone through smoothly and you're well rated, you get a lower rate. And in 5 seconds how much mortgage money you qualify for. you'll be able to look at the property and close the deal in 10 minutes. It'll be a much more efficient system of trading property rights. That's the future. That's coming. Exactly how soon, I don't know. There's a lot of resistance to it, but it's cleaner, it's more efficient, and it's far, far cheaper. It's coming. Anyway, that's what they're talking about here, tokenized real estate. Does that make sense? Now, if you have some questions, ask. I'll try to do as best I can to answer. Total value locked in RWA protocols jumped from 2 billion to 3.5 billion. So it's still a very, very small part of the markets. It's got huge potential and a huge amount of growth to it. That's what ChatGPT and Grok were referring to when they were talking about Ethereum's price growing so rapidly. This is what they're using. They're using Ethereum and Solana to do this. So 75% spike in a month. That's pretty damn good. What's driving this? Falling interest rates and Ethereum scaling upgrades make it cheaper to mint and trade. SEC's hinted at lighter regs for tokenized securities. Wall Street's in on it, and that's the shocker. So I won't read through all of this. One other advantage of tokenizing assets, it'll make it easier to split up interest. For example, fractional ownership. Your listeners could buy a $50 slice of a $5 million condo or a $10 chunk of a treasury bond. It's Wall Street meets Robinhood, but on steroids. Now, I've long argued, in fact, worked with some people here years ago to try to create a financial system for homeless people that have no access to banks, have no money, they can't go in and open a checking account, et cetera, et cetera. They can't access the financial system. They can't participate in it. There's over 2.5 billion people in the world that have no access to the financial system. But if we're able to create these tokenized assets, for example, for the homeless people, the idea was that they would draw some street art up, give them the tools, let them draw a picture, and we would pay them for their art. But they would get credit in this account. And they could take these tokens, these coins, and go to local stores that were participating and buy food or clothes. Or they could save them and ultimately exchange them for cash to try to open up a bank account. It was a way for them to try to begin to acquire some assets over time. Now, there were some issues, technical issues, whatever, getting enough support. The time wasn't right. There were a lot of skeptics about tokenization and cryptocurrency at the time. Maybe it's time to revisit that issue. But it has a huge future at being able to allow those excluded from the financial system to grant them access and to give them opportunities that they don't now have.
It's a good idea.
So market volatility ahead. You obviously got influx could juice prices, but it's going to be bumpy. It's a bubble risk, fast adoption, loose oversight. Listeners need to know big rewards, big traps. Imagine paying rent with tokenized property shares or cashing out a bond via MetaMask. It's not sci-fi, it's here. You love poking holes in narratives, Clay. The trend's got cracks. Regulatory blowback could kill it, or a hack could tank trust. Tell your listeners to watch, not dive blind. I pointed out repeatedly that Bitcoin is unhackable. Ethereum has had a couple of issues, but because of its nature and the way it's operated, it's not decentralized like Bitcoin. There's a guy that runs it, Buterin. But when something big happens, he just went in and reversed it like it never happened. Patched the system, and as far as I know, it's pretty damn stable, pretty damn secure now. The risk is that you lose your pass key, or somebody finds or hacks your doesn't hack, but somebody finds your pass key. They're almost impossible to hack. They're so complex. That's the only thing, is if you're sloppy with your pass key, if you have maybe a keylogger on your computer, or somebody finds the piece of paper you wrote it on, that's the risk. It's not that the system itself will be hacked. How about ChatGPT?
GPT.
Say it 10 times fast.
I know, right?
Oh, I don't guess I posted the question properly on
What?
ChatGPT.
Yeah, you did.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Oh, Grok was just talking about tokenization. I was thinking we were back on crypto, but it was just following up really on that.
Mm-hmm.
Your listeners, whether they're stacking sats, which is a small fracture of a Bitcoin, Satoshi, or just curious, should care because it's rewriting who gets to play in the wealth game. Toss this at Ellen Lee or your next stream play. It's got written all over it. Huh. Now it's quoting me. That's a good start. It is learning. And it's got my name right 2 times in a row.
Thank God for that. I got to tell it to call you Alvin.
Please, let's not get that started. To ChatGPT, the most surprising trend this past month, retail is quietly selling at the top while institutions are buying the dip. It was retail leading the charge with meme stocks, diamond hands, yellow options. You're the ones hesitant. Retail money markets hit all-time high, $6 trillion parked in cash. Brokerage data shows net selling by retail accounts and large cap equities. We've talked about that before, given several examples of Druckenmiller and Buffett going to cash, selling stocks. Institutional flows have flipped net positive back into mega cap tech and Bitcoin ETFs, defensive sectors like utilities and healthcare. So this isn't the typical dumb money pattern. Retail seems to be getting cautious at the top, which historically hasn't been the case. Institutions are behaving like it's early in a bull cycle, not late stage mania. Interesting take. If you're holding cash thinking you're missing out, you're not alone. The cash pile is massive. If the Fed pivots or inflation ticks back up, that money will want a new home fast. If you're risk adverse, patience might pay. You could get better entry points. If you're long-term bullish, follow the whales, but with hedges. If you're a trader, watch for volatility around macro data. So they're kind of like, invest if you like risk, can tolerate it, can manage it. Otherwise, probably don't. So 2 very, very different answers. I actually like Grok's better because it went into something that nobody else knows or is thinking about, which is, to me, a better information. Thinking about
Yeah, I don't
things
like
people
ChatGPT.
aren't looking at. Do what?
I feel like ChatGPT is kind of hiding a few things. Like it's not going to give you the full answer unless you ask it to go deeper or do more or whatever.
And its answers oftentimes to me seem more publicly acceptable.
Known. Yeah.
More the
I agree.
current public narrative.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Or the mainstream narrative.
Yeah. Let's give them a chance to expose some idiocy. What biggest financial mistake a world leader has made this year, and how's it playing out? I guess I need to hit enter.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope everyone is pretty cool with my questions. If you've got some on your own, type them in, throw them out, let us know. Love to give that a chance too. But these are just some
Well,
questions I thought might be interesting.
I asked Grok to send me a blueprint plan for building my deck, which I emailed you a picture of earlier, and I was not happy with the answers.
You'll have to send me that. I'd be interested to read it. Is this before or after you built the
If I
deck?
could, before, right before,
Okay.
and yeah, it was not good. There had to be a little bit of changes in engineering going on along the way,
Yeah.
but Clay will show you the deck in a little bit. I'm in so much pain right now. It sucks to get old. I'm just telling you.
It's
Moving
going to
2
be
by
worse.
8 by 12s all day long. Oh, I know it is. And then, getting those freaking deck blocks, just concrete, moving those around. And yeah, I'm a little sore already. And I'm going to sleep so good tonight, though,
It's going to get worse.
if I can stay awake through this whole show. I know.
Of course you can. This
I know.
is great stuff.
I've been taking my H2 tabs and water. Good. So that should help. All right.
All right.
Go.
What's the biggest financial mistake a world leader has made this year, and how's it playing out? Grok's answer. We're working with a tight window of just under 3 months. Well, I meant actually the past year, but Grok is technically correct, I guess, the way I worded it. The standout blunder comes from Trump, who has already stirred the pot with his economic moves. The biggest financial misstep, pushing ahead with tariff threats, 10 to 20 on all imports, 60 on China, 25 to 100 on Mexico and Canada, without a clear rollout plan. Spooked markets and businesses alike. How's it shaking out? Campaign promised a tariff-heavy agenda to bring jobs back, and he's wasted no time flexing that muscle. He'd signaled these tariffs could hit as early as March 20.
Lack of clarity combined with this negotiation gambit style sent shockwaves to global markets.
Global markets. Let's see. Could tank Kristalina Georgieva warned in January that this uncertainty layered on a shaky global economy could tank growth and reignite inflation. Ex-posts from finance heads like Moffat on Money flagged this as a moment hinting at chaos potential. That's not actually what I went on, but I digress. Numbers back up the mess. The U.S. Composite PMI, which is the Purchasing Managers Index, cratered to a 17-month low as businesses froze plans amid tariff angst. Futures markets flipped from expecting one Fed cut to pricing in 3, signaling fears of a slowdown. Trump's betting that tariffs will force manufacturing home, but he's underestimated the immediate blowbacks. How's it playing out? S&P took a 5% hit in late February. Gold's hovering near all-time highs, and the dollar's flexing. Global pushback. Canada and Mexico are prepping retaliatory tariffs. China's hinting at dumping U.S. treasuries. Some of this I really don't agree with.
That's old information, a lot of it.
Yeah, very old. China has been dumping treasuries for a year.
Yeah.
And a lot of this news is of January 25. Other leaders like Xi Jinping wrestled with China's deflation. Nigeria's Timbuktu juggling debt. Trump's move is the loudest because the U.S. is the world's economic engine. Let's see.
Ask Grok. Well, never mind.
Go ahead.
How BlackRock buying the Panama Canal instead of China owning it, which they kind of did, will affect the tariffs, or will it?
See, here's the other side of the story in terms of Trump's tariffs. A ton of companies, and I forget, 2.5 trillion in investments have announced they're moving plants to the U.S. Apple
Whoa.
announced a $500 billion
Mhm.
investment. This is since Trump took office or was elected, including
That's March 7th,
20,000
actually,
new
yeah.
U.S. jobs. And this will be over the next 5 years. The largest and the most advanced semiconductor manufacturer in the world, TSMC, pledged $100 billion for U.S.-based chip plants. Stellantis, $5 billion to reopen a plant. Eli Lilly, $27 billion for manufacturing expansion in the U.S. GE Aerospace, $1 billion across 16 states. Merck, $1 billion for a new North Carolina facility, part of an $8 billion multi-year plan in the U.S. Vernova, $600 million. So you can type all
Hey,
this in.
ask Grok. Ask Grok. Say, Grok, don't you think the tariffs had something to do with this?
NVIDIA, hundreds of billions over 4 years for U.S. chips. You're damn right, Clay. The tariffs are absolutely the spark, lighting the fire in their companies, announcing U.S. manufacturing moves. So, like I said last year, there would be chaos for the next year, just from the trends in the economy. And then when Trump won,
Do
he
think
is.
harder.
Pardon?
Ask him to think harder. Just click on think harder.
Now it takes Grok a little while to do this because it'll take 2 minutes, 3 minutes for it to do this because it goes through
That's fine.
and it's showing you what all it's going through.
Mm-hmm.
But for a good bit of the last half of last year, I was saying chaos is coming. And, particularly since Trump has won, he's trying to shift the economy from a government spending based economy to a private sector based economy. Going to be huge transitions, huge chaos. To me, the real question is not what happens the next few months or even year, but 2 years, 3 years, 4 years from now, will we as a country be far better off? That's the real issue. I can't say everyone will be better off because people who have investments in that government spending, if you were a friend of the NGOs, who was it? Was it Schiff? I forget which politician. Their wife was getting paid millions of dollars a year by an NGO. They aren't going to be doing as well. So if you had investment or interest in the existing status quo, you probably won't be doing as well. Flip side is most Americans, I think the poor and the middle class particularly, will be doing better. That's the big key to me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm willing to endure, live with, experience some short-term chaos in the markets and in the economy in the hope that this purge helps build a better economy. Okay. Deep thought. I absolutely think Trump's tariff threats have a lot to do with these announcements. 19 companies pledging manufacturers or expansion since his election. Here's why it's not just a hunch, but a clear pattern backed by timing, economics, and history. He won the election by mid-February. He was pushing tariff threats. Within weeks, we see a flood of announcements. I listed them all. U.S. expansions explicitly to avoid tariff cost. That's it. Companies believe Trump is going to push ahead with the tariffs, and they still want access or improved access to the U.S. market. The tariffs will pretty much eliminate the advantage. China uses slave labor. I tried to quit buying China products years ago. I can't say I completely do it because I don't know all the components of everything I buy, but if I know something is manufactured and labeled as such from China, I don't buy it. Because they use slave labor from the Uyghurs or pay nearly slave wages in a lot of regions. Very oppressive government. I just don't want to support them. My own deal. So I'm willing to pay a little bit more. Or I just don't get the good, whatever it is. I just really don't need it. Secondly, China eats the tariff cost by devaluing their currency. So the net effect to American consumers is greatly reduced. Their economy is crashing, still is. They cannot afford to lose the U.S. market. They have to keep it. So they'll do the same thing this time they did 6-7 years ago. They will devalue their currency. We're already seeing it start. So that's a point you don't hear discussed on a lot of the mainstream media or finance shows.
Sorry, I'm getting comfy.
That's okay.
Putting my feet up.
Let's see. ChatGPT's tariffs have introduced substantial uncertainty, leading to volatility. Can't even talk. Economic growth revised downward. And when the government is 2024, the government was responsible for 85% of the jobs created. Think about that. The private sector's been getting hammered. So reducing the government's influence and trying to give the private sector room to grow, yeah, GDP is going to get hurt some. Are we better off in the long run? That's the only real question to me. So I'm not going to ask ChatGPT about the companies that, get the same list, but there you go. So both of them agree the biggest financial mistake the world leader has made so far this year is Trump and his tariffs. All right, next question.
I got one. Hang on.
Go ahead.
Ask Grok if AI, or ask them both. Is it possible for AI to become what's the word I'm looking for? Malevolent towards humans?
All right. Is it possible for AI to become malevolent towards humans? It's still on deep think.
Good.
To answer current AI, no consciousness, no intent. Today's AI, whether the algorithms, image recognition, game playing systems, operates purely as code following instructions. That's kind of been my point so far. So with current technology, AI cannot become malevolent because it doesn't want anything. It simply executes. The future, could AI evolve to have intent? Could AI? Well, let me just.
That's what
Hypothetical future
Elon
where AI
Musk was
advances.
saying.
Could such AI develop its own goals? That's a speculative leap. Even if AGI emerges, malevolence would require more than just intelligence. It would need self awareness and the capacity to form harmful intentions. There's no clear evidence or scientific consensus that this is possible, even in theory. Plus, if we ever approach that point, engineers would likely prioritize safeguards to align objectives. Well, we also saw what was the movie with the big
Terminator.
computer system?
Which
Not
one?
CNET. What was the name of it?
I don't know.
Old kind of 60s, 70s movie. Can't think of the name of it. Where the computer started launching missiles all around the world to destroy mankind.
Oh, that was game.
Can't think of the name of it, but you know what I'm talking about.
It was Matthew Broderick. Yeah. It was War
While AI
Games.
isn't likely to turn malevolent, it can still pose risk through human hands.
War Games.
If programmed or directed improperly, it can amplify harm. Think of autonomous weapons designed to target without ethical oversight, surveillance systems that erode privacy. Do we even have any privacy anymore? Your
Wow.
phone, when it's turned off, still can record and listen. The camera can still work.
Well,
So
look at
even
the
if you
next one.
power it down,
Biased
huh?
algorithms. Biased algorithms. We have that already.
Yes. So, you know, some of these things are a little different. So
Now,
based on what we know today, AI cannot become malevolent.
what not today, but Elon Musk was saying on the Joe Rogan, the last time he was on Joe Rogan, which was recently, he said there's a 20% chance that AI and robots will kill us in the next 20, 30 years.
I think Elon has a rare genius, so I would never argue with him.
He said just 20%, no big deal.
Elon,
like, really?
Did you see the movie The Big Short with featuring one of the managers who saw the subprime crisis coming was Michael Burry?
Saw it 3 times.
An autistic guy, but pretty damn intelligent. Just so happens Elon's autistic and pretty damn intelligent. But Burry consistently through his history has had the problem of being premature in his predictions. Elon also has a pretty good history of being premature in his predictions. Now, they usually end up happening, but the time frame oftentimes is grossly misestimated. So I'm kind of leaning toward that's a real possibility here with Elon's 20 years, 20% guess. ChatGPT, can AI become malevolent? Technically, no. Emotionally, definitely not. But functionally, it's possible. AI doesn't want anything. Functional, that's the real risk. The danger is in misaligned objectives, not Terminator-style rage. Example, You program AI to maximize human happiness and give it full control of infrastructure. It might decide the best solution is to drug the population.
Oh, God.
That wasn't on my bingo card.
Wow. That was not on my bingo card either.
Or eliminate people who are chronically unhappy to boost the average.
Yeah, there you go.
Not evil, just horrifying. The AI doesn't hate humans, it just turned us into paper clips. AIs don't go bad on their own, but people with bad motives, sloppy implementation, unchecked models with real world access, or profit incentives without guardrails, without principle, are the risk.
Well, that's just like, I mean, if you can hack anything, people who are malevolent or want malevolence can hack into a computer system and create. Yeah. Anyway, Jane,
That's look,
huh?
Dave, I can see you're really upset about this. I honestly think you ought to sit down calmly, take a stress pill, and think things over. How? What was that? Space Odyssey 2000. Yeah, that's not the computer I was thinking of, but that
You're
is a
thinking of war
prominent.
games
Yeah, that's it.
where they were playing a game and then it ended up thinking it was real.
Yep. And that to me would be more the possibility where the human encoding the system neglected to consider a
Hmm.
possibility. And that possibility
Yep.
was an eventuality.
Correct.
So interesting. I hope y'all are enjoying this because I kind of am. This is kind of interesting to me. And like I said, I
It
did
is
not
fun.
pre ask any of these questions to either system. So this is as new to me as it is to you. Next question. What's one under the radar global event or black swan that could tank markets in the next 6 months? Always interested in risk, whether I see it or don't. This is asking what's some unseen risk looking out there that could cause chaos in the markets. That's a black swan event. It's something people don't see coming. Supposedly, it originated from
Oh God.
Nassim Taleb's book. You first used the phrase, but it's an idea of something that didn't really exist that actually people found a flock of black swans. I think it was in Australia. So it's something that people think can't happen, but does. Black swan events.
Hmm.
So,
I
Chat
love. Wait,
GTP.
Chat GPT.
Sorry.
GTP. You got to look at the first. You got to look at the first Chat GPT sentence.
All right, let's step out of CNBC land into the shadowy world of unpriced chaos. I like it.
Sorry, but that's hilarious. Hmm.
Um, they come from SideQuest. No one's watching. Under the radar black swan. China's shadow banking collapse. Finally going full Lehman. Interesting.
Lehman Brothers. Yeah.
China's shadow banking system worth trillions has been wobbling for years, and we've covered that. We've talked about that. Local governments,
Hmm.
property developers like Evergrande, County Garden, unofficial lenders, slow motion implosion. We talked specifically about those providers. Thus far, CCP has papered over the cracks, but here's a catch. The real problem isn't Evergrande, it's the iceberg of unreported liabilities just like it. In the past few weeks, more trust firms have defaulted. Local governments are starting to quietly default on their hidden debt. And I mentioned before, some people working for government aren't getting paid, and they're starting to get upset. They're starting to have small riots, something which will likely only expand. Why it could tank global markets, massive liquidations. If defaults snowball, Chinese banks and insurers may need to liquidate U.S. treasuries or global equities. Have I mentioned that China's been dumping treasuries over the past year?
Yeah, because they're screwed.
When China sneezes, emerging markets can catch pneumonia, and U.S. stocks get the chills. Expect a flight to cash. Contagion via commodities and supply chains. Contagion is
Hang
what the
on,
financial industry and markets fear the most.
hang on, hang on. Back up. Because you and I discuss this a lot. We brought it up a few times on the channel. What is the last sentence? Not just the expect a flight to cash. Nope. You
Equity
missed the one
corrections and
thing. Nope.
VIX spike.
VIX spike. We're going to do this one more
Yeah.
time. When the volatility index goes up, the market typically goes down. It's more volatile, right? Because that, like I
Yes.
said it a million times, that is the first thing on my stock page is VIX. And if it's up, I don't look at the rest. I'm like, I'm good.
China is a key consumer of copper, steel, cement. A blowup would gut global demand and hammer resource exporters. It would hammer commodities. The scariest part in defaults, it's Beijing losing narrative control.
Oh
Panic
God,
that
yeah.
Xi can't contain the economic fallout. There probably would be some significant violence associated with that as well.
Now, Clay, it's not possible, in my opinion, for one man to control the fallout of an entire economy that he kind of created.
No. But he just replaced one of the generals last week, the week before, who
Did he?
apparently was fussing or chafing at his rule. You know how I talked about there's
Oof.
some increasing resistance to Xi's rule, some
Mm-hmm.
rioting going on in some communities. For some
Mm-hmm.
reason, this supreme general in China, kind of our version of the chief of staff,
Mm-hmm.
was replaced.
Interesting.
Don't know why, but it was real quick and unexpected. So my guess would be that Xi was fearing this guy, that he may
Hmm.
do something to maybe topple Xi. I don't know, but you don't replace a guy that powerful without damn good reasons.
Yeah,
And a lot
true.
of the military is kind of loyal to this guy. So there you go. All right, Groks. The event Cyber Grid Collapse. Late summer 2025, a coordinated cyber strike, let's call it Volt Typhoon 2.0, building on the known
Chinese
Chinese
hacking.
hacking campaign, takes down key
This is
segments
what
of the
I have been
power
worried
grid.
about. This
That's
is what
it
I'm
right
worried
there.
about.
That
Mm-hmm.
is very possible. There are 9 key points in the U.S. power grid that if 2 or 3 of them were taking out, about 60% of the country would lose power for 6 months.
Or more,
Um, or
because
more.
all of our components from our generators are made in China.
Think Eastern Seaboard or Texas grid offline for weeks, not days. FBI director warned in April 2024 that China's Volt Typhoon already infiltrating energy and water sectors. Interestingly, Trump in 2017 stopped the importation of Chinese transformers, these power line transformers,
Mm-hmm.
because they had a secret component that could be shut off, would blow the transformer up.
Well, that's what I'm
So
concerned about the
Trump stopped
main power
those. One
grids,
of
the
the first
main
things Biden did was remove
get them
that
back.
halt on importation. So I don't know whether U.S. companies began importing them again. I don't know, but that's a very real risk.
They've burrowed deeper, lying dormant.
Jane, I'd be
I know you'd
fine.
be fine. I'd be fine.
Party at Jane's, and the power goes
I'd be
out.
fine. Hackers have burrowed deeper, lying dormant. Then, bam, grid failure. It's during a
It's
heat wave
during a
or
heat
hurricane
wave or
season
hurricane
peak,
season
amplifying
peak,
chaos.
amplifying chaos. Why is it under the radar? Markets are obsessing over Trump's tariffs, Fed rate cuts, and inflation. Cybersecurity is a back burner. Fair enough. The North American Electric Reliability Corporation told Politico in 2024 there's been a dramatic increase in malicious cyber activity of the power grid. It's not sexy like, it's not sexy like AI or crypto, so it's flying low until it isn't.
Oh, yeah.
Cool.
No power means no manufacturing, no logistics. Contagion.
Yeah, just ask yourself, could you get along for months without your credit card or without an ATM or without a bank?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Just imagine in 2 or 3 days, the grocery stores are out of food, the water tanks are drained, and the police are no longer patrolling. How would you eat, drink, and protect yourself? That's the big question. Could you do it for months? That's the big question. I mean, we saw the kind of the chaos that, happened in New Orleans during Katrina when they were out of power and water for a week or two. If a mom can't get food for her baby, what will she be willing to do to get food for her baby?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
If you have the resources and you're going to be fine, do you have what you need to protect yourself from others that want those resources?
Yep.
That's the big question.
I mean, we have seen how people react when this kind of chaos hits, and they lose their manners. They lose their respect for law, property rights, whatever.
And life.
And life. So, if that happens, there would be I've seen some estimates, reports that the CIA estimates that if we lost power for 6 months, that 70 to 90% of the population would die. Interesting. And we talked about that. And that's one reason why we do some of these shows on how to take care of yourself during, events like that. Is not because we are predicting them or we want to be the Uber prepper, whatever. But it's a risk. It may be 1,000,000 to 1 risk, but I don't think it's a risk you can afford to take. I think everybody should have a plan B or a plan C even in order to take care of themselves and their family for an extended period of time if something dramatic happens. Live on the coast, hurricanes. A severe hurricane could take out power, food, supplies, the roads, the airport for weeks. That's a real possibility. Mm-hmm. Florence almost did it. And Florence was a Category 1 hurricane. Imagine a full force category 5, hits the area. We'll see. All we have to do is look at Western North Carolina to know that that is a smart thing to do. We still have no real idea what the actual death count is, the actual damage and destruction. I saw a thing this week that a lot of students from around the country were taking their spring break and spending it in Western North Carolina, helping clean up debris and try to rebuild some houses. I
That's
thought that was the
awesome.
coolest thing I've seen this week or in weeks. But it's still a devastated area. All right. I'm only on question 7, and I've got 20 or
And
22
it's
of
late.
them. All right, let me see. Let me throw out 1 or 2 more. Here's one of the better ones. If you were stuck on a desert island with only one YouTube financial channel to watch, why would it be Moffat on Money? Grok, if I'm stuck on a desert island with only Moffat on Money, your gig with Ellen Lee 5 would be my pick, hands down. There you go. End of story. It'd keep me sane and sharp
Whatever.
while I'm fending off coconuts and sunburn.
Yeah.
Second, you've got range from crypto to predictions to market updates. You cover the gamut: stocks, digital coins, even real world assets, if I nudge you that way. Stuck with just one channel, I'd want variety to keep my brain from turning into mush. That's another community service we provide. We help keep your brains from turning into mush. Grok admits it. Bouncing from practical investing to wilder it's like tariffs or AI debates. It's a financial Swiss Army knife. We ought to put that in we ought to come up with another hat. MOM, a financial Swiss Army knife.
There you go. I like it.
Or a t-shirt. You have this food, fun, and fellowship thing going. Minus the food, I'd have to scrounge. It'd be less lonely than a solo guru preaching at me. If I'm stuck,
Oh,
I feel like
geez.
I'm hanging with you and Ellen, cracking open markets and conspiracies, then nodding off to a monotone expert.
That's funny.
Compared to the big dogs, Dave Ramsey's Moffat on Money wins for its scrappy all-in-one punch. It's not the biggest channel, but it's got soul, skepticism, and a co-host dynamic that keep me from talking to the fish.
Here you go.
I'm kind of liking Grok there. Damn good answer.
I mean, he's kind of a kiss ass.
I think he's just being honest. She can be biased and still be honest. ChatGPT agrees. Yeah, it's Moffat on Money. No hesitation. Here's why. Signal over noise always. I actually like that.
Geez.
Moffat delivers actual substance, macro insights, bull market clarity,
Nice.
You're getting frameworks. Moffat teaches you how to think through liquidity cycles, rate dynamics, and capital flows like a hedge fund analyst who read too much Hemingway. That would be another great t-shirt. Hedge fund analyst that read too much Hemingway. Zero financial
that
theater.
That kind of sounds like you, actually.
No fake urgency. Clearly set with the data. Let the models breathe. Opens his mouth when he's got something worth saying. He doesn't stay in the lane. He'll pivot from CPI to conspiracies with citations. That's premium island content, baby.
There you
All
go.
right. So there you go. Um,
Oof.
we'll do one more.
One more.
Got so many good ones. Let me throw them out and let you see if there's one that y'all like best. If you're running the budget, what's the first thing you'd increase or cut to improve the economy long term? Tell me about the financial scandal from the past year that didn't get enough attention. If you could short a currency today, what would it be and what's your logic? What major currency is at most risk of collapse? How would you turn $1,000 into 10,000 in this economy? Legal ideas only. Now give me the illegal. Give me a 30-second elevator pitch on why gold is still worth buying or not. What's the most overhyped investment trend right now? Why is it doomed to flop? Um, how would you explain the GameStop stock saga to someone who's been in a coma since 2019? What industry or company is underestimated by investors, will become a household name by 2030? If finance were a movie, who or what would be the villain now? Will there be another major banking
Interesting.
crisis within the next 3 years? So, let's see. Jane likes the financial scandal. Anybody else have anything? Ellen, any favorites?
Mm-mm. I'm too tired.
Bless your little heart. She's a
I
tired
know.
girl.
Oh, put that thing up there. The deck. You can do that too.
I don't have. Did you mail it to me?
I emailed it to you.
Uh, um, work or home?
Work.
Huh?
Work.
That's what
There it
Ellen did
is.
today.
That was my project. Dying.
So
Literally dying.
looks good. Really good. You did
It's
well.
floating. Thank you.
You did well.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. It was a labor of something. I don't know what, but there it was. Ugh.
All right, let's see. Taylor, financial intrigue simmering under the radar. Here's the details. Hydrogen dreams and hype. Hyzon Motors burst with a green energy wave. Hydrogen fuel. Merged with a blank check company and hitting 2 billion valuation, faster than you say Elon's next tweet. But they snagged big name bankers like Chevron, Total Energies, IKEA, Anheuser-Busch. But beneath the glossy press release, something stank. It wasn't just the exhaust, the unraveling fake trucks and phantom sales. Whispers on X and a scathing short seller report from Hindenburg cracked the facade. Alleged Hyzon didn't deliver squat. those fuel cell vehicles sold in 2021 were fiction, staged a sham. Video of a truck running on hydrogen was a lie. Well, isn't that interesting? SEC pounced, and by September 24, the gory truth spilled out in a settlement. The penalty, a $25 million fine. Peanuts compared to the $500 million market cap it had torched. 2 execs got banned from running public companies for 5 years. No jail time, though. They lawyered up and skated. That's just wrong. You intentionally, knowingly defrauded people and the public, and no jail time? Anyway. So that's that one. Why it didn't get attention? Timing, for one. 2024 was a circus. Trump's tariff wars, crypto volatility, and juicy Sam Bankman-Fried's appeals sucked up the oxygen. Try this one. See what ChatGPT comes up with. But that's a good story that did go on. I remember it, but honestly, I don't think we covered it. It wasn't getting a whole lot of attention. And I remember the article. I don't remember the SEC's involvement. So that's why I didn't really necessarily follow up a whole lot. In this one, UK's higher education sector. UK expanded franchise education, allowed private colleges to partner with established universities offering degrees. In recent years, investigations revealed thousands of students, predominantly Romanian nationals, were rolling in these franchise courses with little intention of genuine academic pursuit.
Interesting.
The primary motive? To exploit the UK's student loan system.
Really?
I mean, for practical reality, we see that same in the U.S. Students getting student loans and using them for vacations in Cancun.
That's terrible.
So.
All right, Moffat, I got to tinkle again. I'm not sure if I'll be back.
No, that's all right. We're a little bit past time. I think we are,
we're good to go.
I think we're, probably at a good stopping point. If you enjoyed this, let us know. Email us at moffatonmoney gmail.com or DM me on Twitter, moffatonmoney. Let us know what you think. We do appreciate y'all being with us tonight. Enjoyed having you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Us. And we'll look forward to seeing you Tuesday night, 7:00 for Q&A. If you've got some more questions, we can do this again
Let us know.
or follow up on it. Appreciate your time. Appreciate y'all being with us. Our time is up. We thank you for yours. Good night, y'all.
Thank you, guys. Good night.